Yo, I'm Keith.
I'm Y.
I'm JUJ. And this is the Midwest Mixtape Podcast.
Let's keep this honest, cause I feel that I should let some things go this time by. What's it take to be fearless? What's it take to be honest?
This is JSTN with the Midwest Mixtape Podcast, live from the barn. I'm sitting here with Keith Hafner, Y, and JUJ. How's it going, guys?
Good, how are you? Good.
Hi. All right. So once again, we spoke with Keith a while back on the Barnes Live podcast about Notes for Hope. Now we're here to talk about the music and then talk about Notes for Hope a little bit. All right. So we're here because you guys are all on the Notes for Hope bill. And of course, that is the 8th Notes for Hope. It's a suicide prevention and mental health awareness benefit. And that's happening at the Park Hills Underground on September 9th. It's going to happen at 12 p.m. The door is going to be $12. It's going to be $10 in advance. And we're going to have At My Worst, Lost Theory, Party Crashers, King of Vagabonds, Y, Skylines The Limit, Degenerate and Deezyman, Holding Ground, The Doubted, Keith Hafner, and hey, Keith Hafner, tell me the other bands.
Hey, okay. So, first of all, Lost Theory isn't on there, so just real quick. But I sent you the picture for reasons. I don't know where it is. Damn it.
You've also got The Stars Go Out, Ben Diesel, Alex Kasnell, and the board of directors.
Yeah.
And me.
And JUJ wasn't listed
too.
on that first. So, yeah.
So we've been talking about Notes for Hope quite a bit. We've been buzzing about it since the beginning of the month, talking about mental health, talking about music, how it heals. So we've heard some from you already, but tell me, what does music speak to you, Keith?
All right. I think that's a question I ask you. But no, I mean, I think, Justin, you brought it up last time. I think it's where words fail, music speaks. And, we all go through our struggles and need some sort of outlet. For me, I'm sure these guys at the table too, like that's how we got through it. Mm-hmm. So Music Speaks is also a project we should have released by now, where Notes for Hope's doing sort of a challenge. The artist, music speaks. How does it speak for you? And we are actually going to raffle off a guitar and not raffle. I'm sorry. We are going to raffle at the place, but we are going to give away a guitar and a starter kit to somebody who music could speak for them. We're looking for kids. There's nothing like getting your first guitar and being able to just create and speak through that thing, and that's what we're looking to do. That should be launched by the time you hear this, so definitely be on the lookout for that. And if you know anybody, nominate them. That's what we're going for.
And we can find all of that at
notesforhope.net. That's NOTESFORHOPE.net. Also on our Facebook page, Instagrams, everything like that, social medias, and that's where you can find it all. We should see that rolling out really soon.
Awesome. And so I know you've been releasing a lot of music recently. You want to kind of tell me a little bit about the journey as far as going from your old projects into going into your solo career, maybe a little bit of the process with some of the songs you're releasing.
So really with previous bands, I wrote most of the things on an acoustic guitar, and then brought it to the band. We filled it out, everything like that. And then I had my solo project essentially with Downswinging, also with my wife is a big part of that, and Shad, who used to record. You needed all the early stuff with that, and Nathan drumming. But I wasn't able to work out any studio time, things like that, and just things got in the way. So I was like, I'm going to try this myself. And how I started was I recorded a cover. And then I'm remaking some of the songs I wrote for different projects over the years. Mm-hmm. And it's called Reimagined, real creative.
And one of those songs that you're talking about that was reimagined, that was Fearless, the song that was at the beginning of the intro. You want to tell me a little bit about that song?
So Fearless is it's one of my favorite songs. That's why I picked it for that. It was just basically this talks is mental health. Just trying to get through. Like it was a pretty tough time, and just what's it take to be fearless, essentially, which is like, how do I take this on and let people know how I feel, so I can let that out, and just counting on myself instead of other people too. And that's basically the message of the song. And that one just kind of, I couldn't sleep one night and I just wrote the whole song. So that one is still my favorite. It's still one of my favorites.
Right. So I understand that a lot of these new songs that you're reimagining, you're recording these yourself, correct?
Yeah, I'm doing it all myself, along with my guitars.
Right, and then and then I also understand you're playing a lot of other instruments in it as well.
I do. I bring in some. So I started to move that way a little bit with down swinging, but more into folk Americana type sound with some mandolin, some steel guitar, things like that. Just wanted to. I've always enjoyed that style, not necessarily like the over the radio country, but like
right.
But old school things like that. I mean, the first cover I did was a Keith Whitley cover. So,
right.
I mean, that
singer-songwriter style.
Yeah. That. I was listening to a lot of Justin Townes Earl at the time, so he's got a lot of that stuff in there. And I just decided to do it myself.
Awesome. So another one of those songs is Emerald Isle, correct?
So those are down swinging songs,
right? Okay.
But that's another one.
So Emerald Isle, why don't we go ahead and take a quick break and take a listen to that one, and we'll talk about it.
I picture you in the seat beside Amy, laughing and telling us all those stories I've heard 1,000 times. But what I get to hear them again. I wish we didn't have to do this. I wish that things could have been different, but here we are, and here we go. It's Virginia looks so beautiful. I wish that you could see. I know that you're looking down on us.
And so you just listened to Emerald Isle by Down Swinging. That's Keith's project. Keith, you want to tell me a little bit about the lyrics from that song, the process going into it?
Yeah, so that song I wrote after my dad passed away. Basically, it's me and my brother and sister just going on a road trip to Emerald Isle is where we ended up in North Carolina. And that's where we spread the ashes and everything, and it's just going back. It's just after I got home, it was just tougher because, being out there, spending those days after my dad passed, like just with my siblings, just got me through a lot. And then I got home, and I have a great support system, my wife, my kids and stuff. But there was something different, and I just sat down and wrote that song, and that was basically just how I got through. The funny thing is like the chorus, we'll call it, I guess. I was just playing those chords before I started doing anything yet, and Jordan was humming in the corner going,
Your daughter?
Yeah, my daughter, sorry. So she's credited with the chorus, I guess. But no, I was just like, I'm going to use that.
Got to start them early.
I just sat down and told a story, so it's something different than I've ever really done. I mean, I wrote that start to finish right there, so it gets a little tougher at the end, but yeah, it was very cathartic for me.
Right.
To sit down and do that. My brother and sister went down to the studio with me, and I was like, I got to finish this song real quick, and I started to, I went in the booth and finished it. I think I one take that song. And they were like, "Damn!" I think I caught them off guard with it, but yeah, it was I think it was good for us.
Right. And so you talked about the support system and how the song kind of helped you get through your loss of your father and stuff like that. Let's kind of bring it back to the Notes for Hope vibe. You know, we're talking about the mental health and stuff like that. You know, it's super important to have your own support system and to have your outlets for it. Anyway, it's all therapy in a way.
I mean, you know, that's like the joke is like all my stuff's depressing, but it is because
I'm depressed.
Yeah, I mean, like it's because that's all I need to get out, right? I have a few that aren't necessarily, but like most of them, in the end, it's just about me, just being honest and just talking about, because I don't, you know, I think you and I had this conversation on a different podcast before, but like I don't necessarily go to therapy, and it's just not for me. But this is me talking through.
Right.
Instead of talking to a person, I'm talking to anybody who's ever listened to my music.
And see,
essentially.
that's one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is therapy is more than just talking to a therapist. You know, things like BetterHelp, which we're sponsored by, or Everest Counseling, which we're also sponsored by, and then Notes for Hope, all of the resources that you gain from that. Stuff like that is awesome. And then just talking to a therapist from whatever organization, that's awesome and that's good. But that's not the only therapy out there, you know.
Sure.
Having your support system to talk to your people, doing the things like making music or making art or doing sports or whatever it is, that's all therapy, and it's super important. We talked about it on the other podcast before. Was you know, I said that just like working out your body to get your body in shape, you know, you're going to the gym, you're doing dieting and things like that. Therapy is just as important, if not more important, and that's basically what it is exercise for your brain. It's a diet for your brain. Yeah. And so I think that's super important. That's really cool that you add that into your songs.
Yeah.
I feel like even if it's not directly like, oh, I'm getting my feelings out, it's good to also step back from all your problems and to get into like your own world more about it. So instead of focusing on all the negative things in your life, you're putting that energy into something good and you're creating with it and you're providing something for someone, even if that's just yourself, and you're like working towards something and getting better at something.
Yeah.
Create.
I think
I 100%. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like it's an escape. And you said too, it's like for somebody else, like that's, you know, before I could play anything, before I started writing, you know, listen to other people, you know, that spoke and stuff like that. So that's, I would love for someone to listen to my music and be like, I felt that. And I get it, you know, and to know that I get it from their perspective, you know,
Exactly.
from them. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I think creating your own perfect world is kind of the whole idea of creation in general. Yeah. Being an artist, you know, I do music myself, and I write about my personal experiences, and sometimes I don't even necessarily write about my personal experiences, but I create a story based off of how I feel, and that's kind of how it goes. And you know, I'm getting into voice acting and things like that too, and I'm creating these character voices, and I'm kind of like portraying these characters. It's almost like you're creating your own world and kind of getting it out through your voice and things like that. So
For sure. Yeah.
I mean, all forms of art do that. So my question for you is, we kind of talked a little bit about therapy and things like that, but I have a specific question, and I'm going to ask each one of you these. Keith, what advice would you give to somebody who is going through a mental health crisis right this second?
Man, you've done this to me multiple times, and I'm still not prepared for this question because it's tough. You know, and there's qualified people to take care of that, but basically, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, you know, I have a song called "Hold On" too.
I know. I don't want to plug that one.
Oh, okay. No, man, that took a left turn.
Try that in a small time.
Yeah, we should try that in a small turn. But there's another side to it. You know, I look at everyone that's affected me in a suicide and things like that. Like, you know, my father. And I just think about all the time, like, I wish you could see the other side. You know, I wish you could see out of that what happened, or, you know, how it got better, It probably got better. How it affected everybody else. So, like, how much people actually cared. And I think we lose that. And I felt that way before. You know, and nobody's going to care. But, like, literally everybody does. It's... Yeah, everybody cares. Hold on. If I had to sum it up,
Right.
I guess, you know?
And see, like...
There's another side of it.
Right. And see, like, having that support group is still a super important thing. And you know, I had a mental health crisis myself. I talked about it the last couple podcasts that I've been on. Last week's or yesterday's was super important to me because I had Lucas from Skylines The Limit. We used to grow up and play music together. He was part of my support system, and I had my mental health crisis where I survived suicide, but I had my suicide attempt, and Lucas pulled me out of that one. And just having people there for that, you know, to kind of show the support that you didn't realize you had is super important. So I'm going to lead back into what would you also have to throw at somebody who is going through a mental health crisis in this moment?
Life's cyclical, you know, whatever, you know, I truly think it balances out. The depression, the downsides, you know, the bad days and the good days. I think in the end, you're going to have just about as many bad days as good days. So if you're having, you know, if you're having the worst day of your life, it's going to come around and you're going to have the best day of your life.
Yeah, it's the yin and yang. You can't really have the best days unless you can't have good days if there aren't bad days, because then they'd all just be days.
Right. Yeah, you know, I think whatever depression you're going through right now, eventually it will turn into something else. You
Exactly.
know?
And it's like we talked about it on the recent podcast. In fact, I think I've quoted it every single podcast we've done for Notes for Hope so far is it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah, I quoted
Absolutely.
it wrong first, remember?
Yeah, I actually quoted it wrong yesterday, too.
I don't know. I thought I
It's
said
not okay to be okay.
No, I said it's I said, well, it's okay to be okay. And I didn't even realize I didn't say not. And they were like, it's okay to not be okay. And I was like, oh, shit.
also-
It's okay to be okay, too.
Yeah.
just
If you're
for the
fine,
record.
you don't have to be depressed.
Yeah,
It's okay. I'm proud of you.
But I bet I agree. Yeah, for sure.
And you know, I liked I know it was a joke, but you just said that I'm proud of you. I think that's also super important in a support group with people, even if you're not support in someone's support group. I think it's important to tell strangers, you know, that if you see them doing something that they love or just having a better day, just telling them I'm proud of you. You're having a good job. Or you're having a good job. You're doing a good job.
Maybe they do have a good
That's true. You know, those words of encouragement to even a stranger, you have no idea how much that improves that person's day, and that can really help in the
Absolutely.
hardest times of their life.
I think validation and appreciation are very important.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
It's super important. I mean, it's just like treat thy neighbor like thyself, or whatever they say. You know,
Just give everybody love. You know,
right? Everybody needs that in their day. So if you want that, you need to give that out to people as well. You don't necessarily have to talk to every stranger you see. Yeah. It's cool if you do, but at least someone in your support group. You know, I'm seeing that you're doing what you're loving, or I see, you know, you're happier than you were yesterday. I'm super proud of you. You're doing a great job.
Yeah.
You know, the words of encouragement like that are awesome.
Hey, Justin.
What's up?
Proud of you, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, no, you got your voice thing. That sounds really cool. You're doing all these podcasts.
Trying.
I think I just wanted to slip that in there.
Thanks, buddy. I'm trying to do the best, trying to bring the
great.
community around. And yeah, trying to do
If
the
you
best.
don't say it back. That's fine.
I'm proud of you too, buddy.
Okay.
I'm proud of Julian.
I tell you, I'm proud of you all the time. So
I don't. No.
Yeah.
I need it constantly.
He really
I need that constant validation.
I do actually. So it's yeah. My love language.
It's your love language.
My wife's been listening to this and be like, yes.
Yes.
For
yes.
sure.
Wait, he knows?
Yes, he is a needy bitch.
That's exactly what she'd say.
All right, JUJ. Now I'm going to ask you, but it's probably a little bit harder for you at this point because you've got two answers already, and we've elaborated on them. So what other advice would you give somebody who is having a mental health crisis in this moment?
Well, I really did like what Wyatt said, but I do think there's a beauty in the sad times because it means there are good times coming. Because and it's beautiful to
Calm before the
grow.
storm.
It's like really good to grow from that and see how far you've come from like your lowest of lows, and see that sometimes when you're just outside and it's just the best day ever.
Right.
But yeah, also I'd just say like get around people that do love you or that you love, and at least talk to them, at least, because you'll see that so many people love you more than everybody expresses it in different ways. So even if it is helping you do something or just sitting outside or hanging out with you.
Exactly.
And if you don't have that, there's so many groups, so many things that you like doing, even if it's like a video games or whatever. There's
Right.
a group,
Whatever their love language is, right?
And see, that's kind of the important thing about organizations like Notes for Hope, like what you're doing. It's not just trying to help that individual person. It's also about spreading the awareness and the education. So things like talking about the love language, for example, or talking about, just psychology in general, what can help people in general. It's important to acknowledge the different forms of how people communicate, because then that's how you can kind of help them, even a complete stranger. You can see that, oh, hey, they didn't respond well to that, maybe I should try another approach. And again, you could save the day, or at least you tried.
Right. And I think even like events like this, it's building a community too. So like if you don't feel like you have those type of people around you, there's always a group of people that will gladly take you in. And I think anywhere you are.
Sure.
I think one quote, one of my favorite quotes of all time, I think kind of sums up your answer a little bit, JUJ, is the saying is, life's not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. And I think that's kind of the basis. You're going to have bad days, but it's about learning to do that tango and just roll with the punches and keep moving forward. And then you're going to have sunshine the next day.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows that you're human, and you're going through other people have gone through what you've gone through now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Sure.
Okay, so I think we're going to go into another music break. I think we're going to go with a song from our boy Wyatt here now. I think you chose the song Color, correct?
Yeah, Colors.
Colors.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, plural.
There's more than one, yeah. I mean, basically,
So many.
basically there's only one. But
No, there's not.
All right, we're going to take a listen to Colors by Y, and we'll be right back.
I don't know the words to say. I'm sorry about yesterday. Sometimes I get carried away. I can't keep these thoughts at bay. But why does my mind keep running back to you? I beat myself up, ran all black and blue. My whole life favorite color has been green. If you know me in person, you know what I mean. Your voice my favorite song.
So that was once again Colors by Y. Y, you want to tell me a little bit about the process of that song, some of the lyrics, story behind it?
Yeah, so I once had a girlfriend, and we broke up or whatever, and I wrote that with a bunch of my friends in my apartment. My DJ Jerry.
DJ Jerry.
DJ Jerry. He was he was there whenever we wrote that, and yeah, it's pretty much just a pop song,
Pop song.
The drums are a little probably a little hyper pop inflected. There's some weird sounds in there,
Right.
some lasers and stuff.
Some lasers.
Yeah, just some
lasers for eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how I recorded it. Is I had laser eyes.
It's always cool doing these interviews and listening to different artists, like how a song came to be.
Yeah.
Because I talked to Lucas from Skylines The Limit last week, and he was talking about like his song came from it's Summer Soundtrack or something like that. Yep, that's the one. Came from a bonfire, and then you're talking about you recorded it with friends in an apartment.
Yeah. All my music's recorded.
Keith
in
recorded
the
his.
mine's usually alone, or my kids.
Right. Keith had his idea from his kid humming in the corner while he was writing some chords, and it's always cool just hearing the process from different points of view.
Yeah. That one just kind of fell together. Sometimes that just happens. It's just like, oh, there's a song in my head, and then it happens, and you're like, oh, it's done, I guess.
Yeah. So, why during the break, You had mentioned that all buttholes are delicious. You want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Anything is good with Szechuan sauce. And I will do anything for a water.
Hey, Justin, do you have any water?
So
That I can give to him?
It is, yeah.
I do, actually.
that's a lot of water.
That is a lot of
We're
water.
gonna need more time.
So, what got you into like the pop kind of style of music? What got you in music in general?
So I've been when I was really little, probably like 7th grade. This girl came to my class and she was like, "Hey, do you want to join choir?" And I was no. She's like, "I'll give you a pack of gum if you join choir." And so I joined choir, of course. So packs of gum were currency.
Is pack of gum a euphemism?
Yes. So she gave me a pack of gum, not describing what that is.
Bubba Max.
It was Bubba Max. So I
The
joined.
watermelon shit.
It was the one with the pink in the middle. That shit's so good.
It's always best when there's pink in the middle.
It sure is.
I don't get it.
Bubba Max.
Bubba Max. And so I joined choir, started singing, whatever. Asked my parents for a piano, started playing piano. And then I started writing like parodies when I was in like high school and stuff like that. Then I graduated, did music in school.
Now I'm curious about those parodies.
They were all really bad. I was probably like 16, and I was so obnoxious. I'd be on the bus, and you'd have Katy Perry playing or something, and I'd just be making shit up over the top.
Yeah, I'd be mad too.
The Katy Perry thing, that kind of reminds me. In high school, I did the one of the school talent shows, and
I was always too scared.
I did the I did Firework by Katy Perry.
That's awesome. Was it good?
It was good. People told me it was good, but everybody made fun of me so much for it.
They're jealous. They're jealous they weren't a firework.
Yeah. Do you ever feel
They don't light up the night.
They don't light up the night.
Wait, is that a true story?
What?
She literally was like, "Hey, I'll give you."
That's 100%
Okay, so
factual.
That's awesome.
who do we owe Y's career to?
I don't know what her name was.
You don't know her name?
No.
Oh, I forget you guys went to school with more than 20 other people.
Yeah, you went to
so-
Bismarck. There's like 15 people.
Well, all right.
That kind of
I didn't know they had 12th grade.
that kind of sparks
They do.
a little segment that I've got that I want to do now is kind of going around the round table here. So we already talked to Keith, but Keith, like, how do you have a story like that about how you got into music personally?
No. I
Lame.
wish. No, I'm so like no, it was just me and one of my friends just were like, "Hey, we should play music. It'll probably get girls." And I was like,
It won't.
I know. It's like,
It definitely doesn't.
I realized it doesn't work. And then he was like, "We could do this," and I was like, "Well, I can't play anything." And he's like, "You could sing," and I was like, "Okay." So then that's basically what got me into it. And then I learned to play a little bit. I'm still learning, but yeah, that's my whole thing. Was it was in. There was more to it after that because I was like, "Oh shit, this word I could write too," but I never had the confidence until it was like, "Hey, let's get some girls."
Jude, did you get any cool stories like that about how you got into music?
No bubblegum stories. I kind of just been surrounded by music my whole life. My dad was in a band, everything like that. So, and then later, because he was like all metal, like I wasn't allowed to listen to anything. I got grounded for singing Kenny Chesney once. But later I had like stepbrothers and everything, and then they got me more into like rap and everything.
You want to do country in the garage? Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I just been always surrounded by it, and then I just took an interest in producing more. So once I was like, oh, this is the least commitment, you know what I mean? Not
Right.
like that, but I don't have to do anything. I just get to sit at my computer and work on stuff instead of having to practice all this technical stuff.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's always a process. I won't talk about myself too much, but I kind of have my own little origin story as far as music goes. I'll do a quick summary. Like, basically for me, it wasn't anything like the bubblegum story. That's definitely a unique one. You should definitely carry that with you. For me, I was kind of surrounded by music similar to your story, JUJ, because like I was forced to go to church as a kid, and so we always sat in front of the piano at church, and I was always in. Of course, I was already singing whenever I could talk, but or by the time I could talk, I was already singing. But I was tone deaf, of course. But I always sat in front of that piano at church, and that was like the only thing I would pay attention to is the piano. And then my brother and my dad, they were in drumline, so I jumped in doing drumline myself. My great grandpa was a bluegrass player, pretty prominent around here, and his son, my grandpa, he never played out or anything, but he always played his dad's old songs. And at one point, I was always mesmerized by it, so he ended up giving me his dad's guitar. Right. And that was my very first guitar, and so I just kind of picked up different instruments as I went along.
Yeah, that's how I was too. Band definitely helped with that.
Yeah, definitely. And then I did choir and stuff like that too. So.
I wasn't in either of those.
You weren't in band?
Actually, I dropped out of band in 7th grade.
What'd you play?
Trombone.
I played bells, and I dropped out in 6th grade.
Yeah, I was just like, this isn't, and I wasn't, like, I was too shy to try out for choir.
I never did marching band, though. I wasn't.
And yeah, nobody in my family played music, so, yeah.
I kind of was a bad kid in, like, sophomore and junior year, so, like, I did marching band my freshman year, and then I dropped out, and I wish I wouldn't have, because it was, like, probably the funnest experience I ever had was being in marching band, and I dropped out until my senior year. I went back into it, but yeah. So all right, so before the show, Keith kind of told me a little bit about a segment that he wanted to do. He had some questions for why. So Keith, you're the interviewee, but you're also the founder of this event, so that we're promoting. So why don't you do your questions? Ask why. Let's do this. You're on the hot seat. Why?
No, you're in Keith's corner. Welcome.
It's cozy.
It is Keith's. Wait,
Keith's
you can't
cozy
do that.
corner.
No, wait, you can't do that.
Keith's always been on the corner.
Yeah. No.
Cut that out.
Cut that out. So anyway, Keith's corner. So why inspirations? Let's talk inspirations.
Oh man.
Bubblegum.
Am I allowed to say that I like Kanye still? Am I allowed to say that still? I like his music. That's
Runaway's really good.
Runaway's so good.
and the song he did with Kid Cudi, Erase Me.
That one's all right.
No. Fantastic.
No.
That one's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I listened to a lot of rap and hip hop growing up. I like, Tyler the Creator is probably one of my favorites. Kanye West. Right now I listen to a lot of hyper pop. Anything on SoundCloud is pretty much what I listen to right now.
Nice.
It could be the worst song ever on SoundCloud, and I'm like, that's awesome. I like underscores
Note
a lot.
self, put myself on SoundCloud.
Please, I would love.
It's such a struggle trying to get people on SoundCloud.
It really is. And
Well-
SoundCloud's the best place to listen to your music.
Explain why.
It's like a social
Yeah, why?
media, and I wish they would push more into their social media thing. I love SoundCloud. It's like this place where people can, because if you listen on Apple Music, you're gonna find stuff that sounds so similar to everything else you see. They classify by genre, and it's all just a big algorithm. On SoundCloud, you're gonna find stuff that like it's just some 18-year-old, 17, 16-year-old just in their living room making something, so it sounds completely different and technically wrong, compared to like what everything else sounds like. But
I can see that.
I like that, it's
Right.
like more authentic.
Okay. I get it. You can say Kanye. I mean, he had some good songs.
He did.
I don't like what he did to Taylor, though.
I do
So,
like that. I thought that was awesome.
I don't. We'll forever argue about that, but JUJ, same question.
Hold up, I won't let him finish.
Oh,
You like that?
Yeah, it was really good.
PTSD.
Try that in a small town.
Took a left turn.
Right now, probably Aries Breakin's a lot. I have a lot of unreleased stuff that is definitely taking more of a hyper pop turn that I'm planning to get done soon, hopefully before the show. But yeah, definitely Break-ins, Aries, especially rap stuff is more like Oliver Francis, and then probably John Bellion as well for like, he has like the grand production and everything. He does everything by himself, and I've noticed that a lot of the artists I really like do pretty much everything by
Yeah,
themselves.
100%.
They produce everything, they mix and they record everything. 100 Gex as well, just for being themselves. I think that's really cool too. Same thing with him. I like it when it's wrong and it's not supposed to be that way.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause it's just
I get that. So that makes me think. So we were kind of talking about how just like the genres are different as far as shows go. You know, like in rap shows, it's like billed as one thing, and you guys each feature. And in like, you know, rock shows, whatever, it's like I take a turn, you take a turn, you take a turn, whatever. That's explain that to me. I don't know. Like.
Yeah, you could definitely put us on a bill as like Y and JUJ,
And we
or like
have,
Y
yeah.
and JUJ. You know what I mean?
And that's just like, is it just the community in that whole scene?
I don't know if
I wouldn't say it's everybody. I think we've most of my music. I didn't release any music until after he released like his first album, because he's always been good about kicking my ass into releasing stuff, because I get in my own head about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of songs together. We're around each other a lot, so it definitely helps with us because we're friends outside of music. So
Yeah.
that's just what kind of got us friends. So like, it definitely helps with us. But like, personally, I wouldn't want to be on a stage with a bunch of people I don't know.
absolutely not.
'Cause-
But yeah, I could see that for sure.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
Justin, step into Keith's corner.
Yeah. So to add to that, your question about the whole hip hop scene, the featuring on and off stage and stuff like that, as opposed to rock music, I think really the thing about it is it's not every city that does this, but I think St. Louis is one big example of it. Is so the St. Louis community, you know, in the surrounding area, it's a lot different of a music scene than, you know, like LA. In LA, everybody is either a big star or they're almost nothing. Nobody works together, stuff like that. St. Louis, it's completely different, especially since I've been working with everybody with Beyond FM a lot more, and I've been around more artists I've noticed in the St. Louis scene. It's just, that's kind of the music scene culture in general, not just in hip hop, but I mean, it's definitely more prominent in hip hop in the St. Louis scene. Is just, it's building that community together and featuring on songs, and you know, because a lot of them grew up as friends and then they started doing the shit together.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I would maybe is more prominent in the hip hop scene as a band. I wouldn't say as much community, but it's there some way, but it's split apart in different ways. And I think that's one way St. Louis needs to come together. But yeah, so that aside from that, it's like another thing that's like different is like, how do you guys, you know, you can go one at a time, but like, how do you build songs? Like for me, I've got a guitar, I've got lyrics, and I'm doing it that way, and I'm building on top. You guys create a beat,
Yeah.
right? Then
yeah,
the
so
different
it's
songs.
very similar. So like, I imagine your process probably consists of you sitting down with your guitar, strumming things, and eventually finding a melody or something. Pretty much the same thing with us. You know, it's just sometimes we'll find a loop or something we like. Sometimes we'll make the synth ourselves. You know, it's where you're like just making the instrument from scratch.
Yeah.
And then eventually that's usually where at least my creation process ends, is actually I make the beat and then I stop making stuff, because not a lot of stuff gets past that. Words are hard.
Yeah, definitely. Same thing. Like I could probably sit down and make beats all day, but I cannot write songs all day. You know what I mean? So I can make a whole lot and then
Don't really. That's just crazy because like you guys. So
Yeah, I can make like 7 beats in a
I know
one song.
that honestly it blows my mind. So like I can come up with 7 different chord progressions on my guitar, different rhythms or whatever. But like making a beat, I tried it the other day, which was really good, right? There's trumpets in it and shit.
Cut that out.
No, like I was like, oh, let me see. But like for me, it's different, and so I'm like, I envy that part of your guys' writing, and I think that's really neat.
I mean, there's a lot of times I just write stuff when I'm at work, because I think of stuff, and then I'll just try it on a beat I make.
You mean like lyrically?
Yeah, and then
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
Then I'll just try it on a beat, or if I don't like it, I'll put it on another one, and you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of room for mix matching,
For sure.
stuff like that, as well. I mean,
I can see that. It's just the
I don't do that.
The structure before the song.
I mean,
it's just
sometimes
like
sometimes I do that, but when I do that, I tend to like my lyrics more sometimes. But other times, I like to write it after I'm done with part of my song, so it's all glued together. Rather,
how do you decide you want to put Y on one?
like some of my songs, I'm just like, oh, this, because I know his voice well enough to be like, oh, I'd want him on this song more than like that. Sometimes I'm just lazy and I'm just like, I don't want to write anymore.
You
So
say, okay.
here you go. There's a lot of like beats and stuff I've produced as well, where it's like I've made it and it's like this whole like world technically, and it has this energy to it. I'm like, I don't really feel like this. I just like the way it sounds. You know what I mean? And I'll try to like give those to other people, or if they're not in my style as well, I'll try to
Okay.
promote them, give them to other people.
In the end, it's the same, just different.
Yeah.
You know.
I think it's always kind of cool to listen to the different angles of, you know, how you're talking about with you sit down with the guitar and just kind of come up with chords, and then you guys with the computer and you're just kind of working on synths or beats or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, like mostly for me, when I'm out actually writing songs, like it's usually when I'm, like you said, with work, I'm in a work truck all day long, and I'm either listening to a podcast, a song, or the radio, and then I'll just kind of go into 1 hour where I just turn everything off and it's silent, and then for some reason I'll just start coming up with melodies or lyrics, and I'll just start sitting there doing that, and then I'll be like, damn, I gotta pull over real quick, and then I'll just kind of record or write lyrics or whatever. And
voice notes, a notepad. That's that.
yeah, pretty much.
I'm completely. All of my music's written in the moment. Like,
Right.
I do not write anything beforehand.
Yeah, see, that's different too. Like that's
It's all like Emerald Isle kind
It's
of.
neat
You know,
to
it's all just in the moment.
Right.
So,
that's always neat to see other people's process and stuff, because like
For me, like the real problem with me is I always come up with one-liners and stuff, like really cool one-liners. That's like
Yeah,
a really cool lyric that sounds good, that has a good melody to it, and then I just have a hard time coming up with everything surrounding it.
you just need to find
the same
like
way,
100 more of those bars. You know.
Well, see, I have 100 of those one bars, but they're all meant for completely different songs.
We'll make you a beat.
there you go. Hey,
on something.
it'll make a beat. So we talked about what got you into it, you know, inspirations, but like, who made you want to like get on stage? Who made you want to like, that's what I want to do, like release music, things like that? Like, who's that person or that artist, that band or whatever?
I told you about Bubblegum Girl.
Yeah, no, I said that was his start, but like,
That was
who
my
made you
start.
want to do it yourself, like originals, get on stage, things like that?
Definitely the fame and the money, right?
Yeah, that's what talking to him.
Yeah.
I was like, the only reason I do this is because it's so easy to make money.
Yeah, it's just it makes so much money.
yeah,
and
it's just
Yeah, we all know that sitting around the
No,
table.
there's like
Yeah.
like
The easiest way.
I have inspirations, and I have like I can point to like two different things that were like watching Newfound Glory, watching Rookie of the Year for the first time, like listening to that album. I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to
Yeah.
do
Right.
that. I want to be that person. Like, and you can tell both of those are huge in my music, but but like, who's that for you?
Man, so the first time I got like really into writing music, it was probably I went to a concert. I went to a Chance the Rapper concert,
Okay.
and there was like hundreds of thousands of people there, and or at least that's what it felt like. I don't know. I was probably like 17, and they were, you know, it was Chance the Rapper had like a gospel album at the time called Coloring Book, and
I like that one.
I do too. It's a very good album. The one after that's absolute garbage.
I like the song you did with Justin Bieber too, though. I'm the one.
No,
You're
good.
not.
songs too. But yeah, you know, I went there and they were all like singing like this gospel song. It was like 100,000 people in St. Louis just singing like this gospel music, you know.
Yeah.
And then it was his mom's birthday that day, and he brought this Spanish singer out for his mom. And I don't know, just, you know, I was like, I want to do that.
I get that.
I want to sing in front of a bunch of people and bring my mom out. And
Yeah, and have them sing it back to you. Like, I
yeah,
think
that's the coolest thing ever is when you hear someone singing
Right.
your words.
It's like
you're like, wait,
there is
the
literally
words.
nothing like that.
Yeah.
Like
It's
that
It's like
is
every
the
time
coolest.
Keith plays "Breathe Easy,"
I
I'm
know.
always in there like,
Justin and Lucas, like, man, playing around here just like years and years ago. Like, we always knew that you guys were screaming the words back, and like that means tons to me because I wrote those words. You know,
Yeah.
it's like,
100%.
but I get that exactly. So that's what I meant. Like, it's so
Yeah.
it's neat to hear. Like, there's always a click, right?
Yeah.
Like of some sort. And what was yours? And if you grew up with it, maybe a little bit.
yeah,
You know,
like
but-
definitely my dad, because when I was younger, I
Yeah.
remember seeing him on stage. He played at like the pageant and everything. And it was like, all grand and everything.
Right.
So it looked crazy then too. So that, and then when I first played on stage, I was playing bass at my church, and like just that alone, like just like the energy and being a part of a band and having it all together, like I loved it. But yeah, I've always just wanted to do that, especially with my dad as well. So yeah, just seeing him up there and then being up there, like having a little taste of it with like church music, because it's not always necessarily what I wanted to play.
Yeah.
But it just like knowing that people like that I'm up there too, and then because I just completely get lost up there too. It's
Right.
cool. But I'd say for like an actual artist, probably like Oliver Francis, because he's from Missouri as well. So like just seeing that like small town person coming
try
up.
that in a small town.
Yeah, well, I will try that.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I think the first time I ever played in front of somebody and sang was in church too. So I get
Yeah,
that.
and the
Same.
feedback in church is very positive.
Oh yeah,
Always.
like you can do
Especially-
no wrong. So
yeah, especially when you're younger too.
Exactly.
They love it, and that makes you feel really good too.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and I love to be the center of attention. So like,
Me too.
Same.
So when I first got on stage, I was like, "This
That's the whole point of being a musician, really. Is
I don't know how bass players and drummers do it because nobody's paying attention to them.
I only watched the drummer.
But
You just have to be
But yeah, like-
way younger, and then they're like, "Wow, he's saying
Yeah.
something."
but like you said, watching your dad on stage like that, I hope that's what my kids see. You know?
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it's definitely making an impact as well.
And if that's what they want to do, if it's not what they want to do, then whatever. But like, and I just think it's cool. Well, like, I wouldn't change my parents for anything, but like, they didn't do it. Like, my mom taught me some like hymns on the piano and stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, that's the extent of it. So like, giving them the chance to do that's gonna be really cool. So
Yeah,
it's cool that you got that.
Any more from Keith's corner?
I think Keith's Corner is
Closed?
yeah. Well, Justin, answer those questions.
Answer those questions.
Yeah.
Which one do you want me to answer?
So who made you want to do music?
So who made me? So I kind of went into the whole grandpa story and the church story and the brother and dad playing and stuff like that. But I think as far as like a national act, like seeing bands like I was real big into Avenged Sevenfold growing up. So
Ooh.
like seeing their performances, listening to a lot of like Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco and stuff like that. That was always real big for me. And I was always interested in rap. So I mean, I'm not a rapper by any means, but
Who's your favorite rapper?
you know the answer.
Who?
I don't.
Actually, for me, it's NF, but for a long time it was the typical the Eminem and Tupac and
Tupac?
man.
I don't know a
And
single
Tech Nine. Tech Nine's probably my favorite now.
Really? Isn't he from Kansas
besides
City?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Mac Miller's my favorite. I did a rap song one time, which he says I didn't because I didn't write it, but
I really
No,
like
Miller.
Dax.
You did a cover of a
yeah,
rap song. You
so
didn't write.
It's ours. It's ours.
yours
Like
and
it's not.
Mac
It's not.
Miller's.
It's not our song, but the cover is ours.
I
So like I
guess.
did it. Yeah.
Those are my favorite like national rappers, but I will tell you I'm friends with a crap load of St. Louis rappers, and probably my absolute favorite would be Dub Flow, just because he's got the flow that I like. He's got
Yeah.
the
in his
best
name.
lyrics. The dude can literally freestyle amazingly, but he also writes great songs just without being a freestyle. And he's just also one of the greatest dudes I've ever met in person. Like his energy is just fantastic. And then also he's in a band called Egan's Rats, and he raps with Gorilla J. Gorilla J is one of my favorite rappers as well. You got Antonio the Great. He goes by ATG. He's awesome. Those are some of my favorites.
cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what other questions did you have for me?
That was the main one. Who's your favorite local pop punk band?
My favorite local pop. What? Oh,
Oh, that's Justin.
okay.
Oh, what's my favorite local pop punk
Yeah.
band?
And I'm talking local, like in this room.
In this room. I gotta go with A Part of Heart.
That was gonna be my answer.
No, it's definitely the Cinema Story. You guys were, there was always a reason we played shows constantly with you guys. Like we always thought of you like our brother band back in the day when we did the A Part of Heart stuff.
Yeah, same. Little annoying little brother.
Samesies.
I said annoying little brother, Justin.
Samesies.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, annoying older brother.
Yeah, you guys were really good. I remember seeing you guys, and I was like, man, We should play more with these guys. These guys are good.
And we did.
We did.
Did Notes for Hope
You did.
quite a bit. And
Yeah.
it was a good journey. It's been cool seeing it evolve over the years, even if we're not in those same bands anymore.
Yeah. R.I.P.
So I think we're going to go ahead and jump into another music break, and this one is going to be JUJ Rage.
JUJ Rage.
We'll
That's a
talk about it after the break.
Make my vision go red, can get you out my head. I think you've seen just enough. Leave the words left unsaid. You struggle on this mess. You know I did my best. I think I've seen just enough. Leave the words left unsaid. I can't say, feel the pain all around me. Staying up late, filled with rage like I'm drowning. Wide awake, feeling like I'm jaded times 1,000. Can't keep up the pace of my demons, I feel crowded. I can't stay, feel the pain all around me. Staying up late, filled with rage like I'm drowning. Wide awake, feeling like I'm jaded times 1,000. Can't keep
All right, and so that was Rage by JUJ once again. JUJ, same questions. You tell me a little bit about lyrics, process, how that song come to be.
Yeah, so I made that song a while back when I was living in Kansas City. The first verse on it, I initially wrote way before I even lived in Kansas City, but I knew I was going there, and I was terrified. Mm-hmm. So I wrote like my first song ever that never got released, and it had that same verse as that song does. But I wrote that because I was just scared to leave my small town.
Yeah, try that.
Try that.
Yeah, because it's just where I've always been, and I just wanted to get out though. So yeah, I think it's mainly about that, and I pretty much wrote it, and I had it pretty much done. And there's one of the songs with Wyatt on it, and I just kept bothering him. I was like, hey, make sure I send it to him.
It took like months.
Yeah.
I didn't write that song until we recorded it.
Yeah, because
Right,
he was still down here, so I sent it to him months before he ever came up to record, and he was like, I just kept bugging him. I was like, hey, I really need you to make sure your part's done so the song can be good. And he's like, okay, for sure. And then like 3 months later he comes up, and then he's like, I haven't written anything, and then he writes one of my favorite verses probably. So
Awesome.
It's a cool song. But yeah, I'm glad I wrote that, and I'm glad I had Wyatt on it.
Awesome. So you do you have any other songs you're releasing anytime soon?
Yeah, I have a whole EP album thing. I don't really know the difference. It's like 4 songs, so I wouldn't call it an
It'd
album.
be an EP.
Yeah. So, but they're pretty cool. It's all kind of stuff that's new.
They're very
like,
cool.
They're new to my sound. You know what I mean? So none of them are rap. They all have like their own sound space, and I'm hopefully getting that done before the show. If not, I'm at least playing them at the show.
Cool. You got any other shows coming up besides Notes for Hope?
I don't think so. We're pretty conservative on our shows.
Gotcha.
Not for any particular reason, I don't think. I think we're just lazy.
So where all can the people at home listening find your music, find your socials?
Yeah, so, we post on both of our Instagrams. He doesn't have Facebook because he's old. Well, he's not old, I guess.
Ha.
But, yeah, Spotify, Apple Music, JUJ,
Such a rebel.
JUJ, Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, pretty much any streaming service. And then my Instagram's JU1INJ.
And
He doesn't know how to spell.
so why do you happen to have any other shows coming up besides Notes for Hope?
No, if I have a show, Julian will probably be there.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's my dog.
Also gets his Minecraft house. It's true.
Yeah. Otherwise, I will blow up his Minecraft house. No, I don't have any shows coming up other than Notes for Hope.
Okay.
Maybe one next year again. Okay. Notes for Hope probably be our last one for the year.
Yeah, we are pretty, like I said, conservative about it. I think it's fun to make them really special and not just something we do every other month.
I want to have
Just
new
so-
music every time.
Yeah, I want it to be a different show, and I want to be able to provide more than just music. I want people to be able to watch. Like last show, we had a bunch of like different transitions, and then we
Yeah.
had stuff like that. So we like to make it more of a process than it needs to be, but you know what I mean?
We want it to be special, especially if you're going to
It's
pay
always-
us for it. I want you to want to.
Right. You always want to make it an experience. That's what live music's all
absolutely.
about.
Right, yeah, I don't want people to go to the same show 5 times and
Right.
And be like, oh, we're going to another JUJ show. I bet we're going to hear this song and this song in this order.
So-
I want that.
And so, where
Order.
can we find your releases?
I'm on SoundCloud, of course. My name's just Y. I'm on
WY?
on on Spotify and Apple Music and pretty much everywhere else. It's just my full name, Wyatt Voiles. I don't have a cool
That's
stage name.
also on the socials like Instagram.
Of course, yeah. On Instagram, I'm pretty sure it's just my full name, Wyatt Voiles. And that's pretty much all I use. I used to use Twitter, but then they called it X, and I'm not having an app called X on my phone.
Threads is kind of the way to go at the moment.
I
now,
have
I
a
hear.
Threads, but man, that app sucks.
It's still.
It is
in
just
development.
like it is Twitter for my mom. I'm like, I cannot look at this for too long. But yeah, it's everywhere else. It's just my full name, Wyatt Voiles.
Okay. And Keith, where can everybody find your music and your socials?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Instagram, well, except for SoundCloud.
We will fix
I think
that.
you have like Bandcamp and stuff too. Don't
I
you?
do have Bandcamp.
Bandcamp, no
So Downswinging stuff's on there. Cinema Store
Bandcamp's
stuff's on
awesome.
there. Every like some Fridays are like free band Fridays or something like that. So all of it goes to the artist. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I think there is a Twitter. I don't do a lot of socials to be honest.
We got to work on that.
But Apple Music, Spotify, all that stuff. Just search me. I mean, I've got the redos on there, and then Downswinging, and then the Cinema Story is also some of my stuff.
Cool. And so I know you're putting your heart and soul into Notes for Hope and stuff right now. Do you have any other shows that are coming up at the moment?
I don't.
Any plans?
So, I got a project that's gonna come out soon, another music project. But we haven't really set any dates for shows. But that's probably be the next stuff that I'm playing out. Cinema Story talked about getting back together, but I don't know if we are. So, I don't know. Probably be next year for sure because all this is going on. One Notes for Hope to get even bigger. So hopefully that's at the forefront. But then there's a lot of music coming out. I know I'll have a Downswinging single out soon. Maybe a Hello Adventure one too. That's my new project.
Cool. So there's a lot to look forward to from all of you guys in 2024 then.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we've been sitting around with Keith and Y and JUJ and having a great time. You guys can catch them once again at the 8th Notes for Hope Suicide Prevention Benefit. That's going to happen at the Park Hills Underground. It's going to be $10 in advance, $12 at the door. It's happening at 12 p.m. And some of the artists that you can see there are going to be Degenerate and Deezyman, Y himself, Skylines the Limit, At My Worst, JUJ himself, Party Crashers, Kings and Vagabonds, Holding Ground, The Doubted, Keith Hafner, of course, The Stars Go Out, Ben Diesel, Alex Kaznell, and the board of directors.
Yep. Also kicking off the show will be my friend Greg.
My friend Greg.
So Greg was in a band called The Last Stanza. He also does a
I remember.
Blink 182 cover band. So he'll be kicking us off with kicking the day off with some covers and things like that. So excited for him because he's always great. But he was like, I had another 30 minutes in the morning, or boom, we kick it off, and he wanted to do it. So he's not on the flyer, so unofficially, but he'll be warming us up.
So awesome. And of course, that's that's happening at 12 p.m. on September 9th. You can, of course, come say hi to Keith. You can say hi to Y. You can say Y to JUJ. I'll be there.
Y to JUJ.
Y to JUJ.
I don't know why.
It'd say JUJ the Y.
We'll have
come say hi to me. I'll be emceeing, I hear.
Yeah, we'll have some raffles. We're gonna raffle a couple guitars.
Awesome.
We're gonna raffle some other stuff.
There's going to be some crafts outside and stuff
There
put
will
together
be.
by your wife, Tiffany.
Yeah, and also merch. We'll have Notes for Hope merch,
Right.
and I'm sure the bands will have merch.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So it'll be a fun day.
And it's going to be an all-ages event, so kids are allowed to come. Bring your kids.
Yeah, please.
Bring your kids. Bring your
That
babysitter.
sounds weird, but yeah, bring your kids.
Bring your kids.
Yeah.
Mine will be there.
And of course, the Park Hills Underground. Once again,
Exactly.
they have a bar. They have access to drinks. So come get those. We don't have food, but you can. Of course, there's plenty of eateries downtown.
Yeah, Domino's is like across the street.
You can always
Wait, not anymore.
order
What is it?
Domino's. You can.
Casey's.
There's DoorDash and stuff like that too. So
Of course.
it'll be a long day, and it'll be a long day of fun. So
Yeah, it will.
we'll do that. Let's put it together and make this thing bigger.
Hell yeah.
So that was once again, that was Keith Hafner, that was Y, and that was JUJ, and we've been sitting here having a great time. You've got me, JSTN. We've been talking on the Midwest Mixtape podcast. It was good having you guys.
It was good to be here.
We will see you next time.
Got a lot on my mind tonight, and let's keep this honest, cause I feel that I should let some things go this time by.